On today's Infinite Galaxy video, let's talk about what a farm account is and why you really want to make sure you have a few of these available in this game, because without a farm or multiple of them, I truly don't know how you survive this game long term. Everything you need to understand about what a farm is, what to focus on in your farm, how to grow it, and all that good stuff in this video. So sit back, don't forget to slap a like on the video, and let's go. Hey there, YouTube, Galactic Gecko back from space with another Infinite Galaxy video. And today I want to show you a secondary account, which I guess you can call it a farm account, but it's not really because it's a secondary account. But the whole point is to talk about farm accounts and for you to understand what a farm account is and why you really want one. Before we start, don't forget to drop a like on the video, hit the subscribe down below, and this video is sponsored by Infinite Galaxy, and here we go. So a farm account is a secondary, tertiary, how many other accounts you want to have that you want to call a farm account, whose job is one and one only. Gather, so that the bigger account, the main account that you play on, will have resources. Games like Infinite Galaxy are very heavy, especially Infinite Galaxy, extremely heavy on resources, will require of you to gather more than you truly can in a single one of your whatchamacallit, I almost said in the kingdom, in a single spaceport. Your one spaceport, which can have up to 5 marches or fleets, cannot really sustain as much as you would need in order to keep growing. For example, Command Center 21 requires 14 million titanium, 12 million deuterium, 2.7 million nickel, and 1.1 million plasma. But I can tell you that 26, which is where my big account is right now, requires 50 plus million titanium and 50 plus million deuterium, and those are simply numbers that are impossible to gather. If we take a quick peek at how my farm is doing right now, it takes about 5 hours to finish a level 5 plasma node, which is just where I got to, which is about 30,000 plasma. And so if it takes 5 hours for 30,000, one march will theoretically do 4 times a day if you keep up with it. So we're looking at 120 times 360,000 plasma you'll get a day, and you're gonna need like 6 of it in order to upgrade City Hall to your Spaceport 26. And so bottom line is you really want to have sub accounts whose job is strictly this: gather. Now, how would you go about doing this, and what would be the steps that you should take? First and foremost, building a farm is extremely simple. The number one thing you need to know is you want to follow the quest line. You want to follow all the storyline as much as you can. Just keep following it, because the amounts of resources and stuff you'll get out of it will essentially help you progress quicker, both with speed ups and with resources, which you will need to grow. The next thing you should know is that realistically, you don't care about anything above tier 2, and more specifically, destroyers tier 2. The T2 destroyers have just a stupendously high load, which is very nice. And as you can see right here, the level 2 destroyers have an 837 load. And just to give you a little bit of reference, when it comes to T2s, the rest of them are nowhere near that capability, especially if you go take a quick peek at the T5s. You can see a T5 destroyer has not that much, not even 50% more gathering, more load than other fleets. So the bottom line is you really want to get the T2 destroyers, and you just want to train those. Now, how many of these do you train? What you want to make sure is that you're training enough of these so that you can grab a level 6 titanium resource node successfully, 360,000 resources. Once you've hit the 360,000 resources that can be gathered by your your fleet, you don't really need any more fleets. Now, you can get a little bit of extras, so maybe one day, you can gather more. But what you want to make sure is that you have, for as many fleets as you have, enough T2 destroyers to go gather. And you really want to make sure that one of these, with the highest load possible and the highest everything possible, will be the one that you'll send daily to go gather planets. Now, in this particular scenario, my farm is a general. Well, this account is a general account. I did not actually make this as a farm. This was supposed to be like a secondary account that is the leader of GG4, but it slowly turned into the farm that it is nowadays. And there are a couple things you should understand about the farm, okay? First and foremost, you really want to make it to Command Center 20. The reason you want to make it to Command Center 20 is that at Research 20 and Command Center 20, you can gather plasma. That's the highest level you got to get to in order to gather whatever you want to gather. To get your 4th fleet, that is level city, you need to get, I believe, to Spaceport 22. And so you have a long ways to go still. And the amount of resources that it takes to get there is generically crazy. But again, if you have the time and capability and you can get yourself into a big alliance, then you can allow yourself to potentially make a few moves with growth and stuff like that, because you're gaining resources through the alliance in the form of bags. So being in a good alliance is also extremely important, but in a farm alliance is also great, especially if people are a bit active on their farms. Now, the reason farms are extremely useful is, of course, the resources. On top of that, you can go hunt space pirates and get even more things out of them. You can double up events and get more stuff out of it, especially resources. But the thing about this game is that you cannot send resources to people. The only way to get resources is by plundering a spaceport or burning it. And then you're going to be essentially grabbing an even amount of resources across all the resources. So for example, right now, because I have so many resources of all types, if I were to hit this account, I would get a little bit of everything until I run out of something, and then I'll keep getting more of the other stuff. So I'll run out of nickel first, and then I'll get more titanium deuterium out of here until plasma runs out too, and then I'll get only titanium deuterium until I run out of titanium, and then only deuterium, so forth and so on. My recommendation is, first and foremost, don't start one farm, start 3 at the same time, at least. And the reason I say 3 and at the same time is because it takes very little to get these steps done in the very beginning. Growing your farm will literally take you less than half an hour a day on 3 farms. You just got to log in, send gatherers, click, research, build, next, until you get to 20, and then it's just gather. And the reason you want 3 or more is because it takes time to get there. But if you do them 3 at the same time, it doesn't take more time. And also, when you have at least 3 farms, what you can do is you can do designated gathering. And that's the most important thing that I don't do in Infinite Galaxy. Designated gathering means essentially each farm gathers one type of resource. Why is that important? Because if I only need titanium right now, the only way to get this titanium away from this account is by hitting it until I get all the rest of the resources away from it, and then the titanium, because it's an even distribution. And so when you have 3 different farms that do 3 different types of resources, and you yourself do a 4th one, you do plasma, one farm does titanium, one farm does deuterium, one farm does nickel, then you can plunder whichever farm you need, whenever you need. And of course, the more fleets you have out there gathering, the more resources you'll output an hour. In a matter of these games, it's a matter of how many resources an hour can you output, and the more farms you have, the more resources you'll output. So this is my one farm. It's not really a farm, it's now a farm, but what we do is essentially I'm a plasma gatherer, but there are other folks in GG4 that are the deuterium and titanium gatherers. I stopped doing that. And what we are planning on getting done, hopefully in here and maybe in other alliances as well, is to have folks who are designated gatherers, farms that are designated gatherers, in order to kind of build up a nice little bank of resources, either for war or to help each other out grow, right? Because at the end of the day, someone like Gimme is putting in the work. I mean, the man is growing, but he is going to need some resourcial helps if he is by himself. He has 3 farms, then sure, but if he doesn't, then he is going to need some resource backup. And that's what we're trying to kind of build, a system of farms that are capable of supporting other players as well as the player owner, the owners of the account. And so this is my current farm. I really recommend you guys to T2 destroyers, work your way to Spaceport 20. Make sure you have enough T2 destroyers to gather at the highest level whatever asteroids you're building. And finally, make sure you also have one fleet whose job it is, kind of like the 8-hour one, to spend the 500 energy to go grab a planet every single day, with essentially at some point, the way you know you have all the troops you need, all the fleets you need to gather the planet is when you click on the planet and you see how much it costs you to gather that planet. If it's 500 out of 500, you've maxed it out essentially. And so the more you develop the account, the more you'll be able to gather out of planets, obviously. And of course, as a farm, you can always invest in your gathering researches. So you can see we have put quite a lot of work into the researches when it comes to gathering. And so we are continually doing this in order to get better load boosts and all that good stuff, which is extremely important for a farm. But again, it's a matter of just your decisions. Obviously, you can keep going with development a little bit more. Your military, you can progress in. You can later on use this. I progressed my military because this account was not a farm. It was supposed to be at some point a fighting sort of kind of account. But anyway, get your farm going. You need them. You are going to need them. This is a game where you must have farms. You must have farms. You cannot get through this game without farming. And of course, you're going to need your flagships. Make sure you're training your flagships by hunting pirates and stuff like that so that they can hold as many fleets as you need. And obviously, as time goes by, you're going to unlock more crew members. You're going to put captains. You're going to do all of these different things. But it's going to take some time. It's going to take some effort building the farm. This is why I recommend getting at least 3 done at the same time. So you get them all done at the same time. What do you guys think? How many farms do you have in Infinite Galaxy? I'm Gecko, but every single time. Drop a like on this video. Hit that subscribe down below. I'm going to go ahead back to space and I'll see you in the next Infinite Galaxy video. Take care. Have a good one. Peace. See ya.